Hey everybody. I wanted to give you a little tour of the garden. Today is July 19th and let's see what we have growing. It's a glimpse of most of the main garden behind me. You can see that it is going crazy. All right, I've moved some stuff around. So let's start over here with my daughter's garden, Maddie's garden. It is just growing like crazy. So here we have one cucumber plant that, I forgot the variety of this. I think it's an Italian cucumber. And it's just absolutely covering this. I had to add more supports. There are some like snow peas or snap peas under here. And they're supposed to be those like little tiny pumpkins. But these tomatoes here, which I believe this is the black strawberry tomato, is absolutely going insane, and it's covering most of the trellis already, and so the light is not like going down here so great. So I'm trying to train these out and then we'll let them go that way. We'll see what happens. I don't know. This used to be a space that you could walk through over here. Yeah, good luck with that, but that's okay because like look at this. Can you see this truss of tomatoes? These are just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And they're all over. We actually have another type of tomato making its way over here from the plant next door. In the middle of her garden, these are purple bush beans. They started to get so tall, I made a little trellis, but I sort of regret doing that because now they're kind of squished together. You live and learn, right? Oops, that's gardening. Bugs. There's a lot of gnats because it's been kind of wet. That's one reason the garden's growing so nicely. Over here we have one green stalk, which I have to say is not my best way I planted it. I loaded it with all the extra tomato plants I had, quite knowing very well that it was going to go crazy, and it has. I mean, there used to be space in between this gigantic zucchini and the green stalk, but there's not that much now. So I just have to keep on top of that so that I can still turn it and it doesn't get attached. Some of my plants are looking a little floppy. I'm not totally sure why, because they're definitely wet enough, but we will see. There's peppers in here. There are tons of tomatoes in here. There's chives back there, flowers of all sorts. This is some sort of squash. It's huge, but I think this is the largest zucchini in the whole garden. Get down by it. As you can see, it is huge. It's an Italian gray zucchini. It's already given one zucchini. I haven't been on top of pollinating this, but hopefully we'll get a couple more sometime soon. There's a bunch of tomatoes back here. There's some beans in this garden too, but let's see. Can you see all the way through there? More of those. I think that's another black strawberry. Yeah, it's another black strawberry. What's this one? Oh, this is a Castello Genovese, which is a really beautiful tomato. But this plant, if you see the stems over here, they're all, I didn't prune this one very well, and I actually don't think it has any tomatoes on it. So I'm probably gonna have to do some hard pruning on this to see if we can get it to make some flowers. Oh, I didn't even realize that until right now. So I'm glad I'm giving you the tour. We have a bean teepee here. There's two kinds of beans. There's magnolia peas on this side. They have these really beautiful purple flowers over here, and they make purple beans. Oh, the bean is going around the tomato. And then we have another type of bean plant over here with a tomato leaning. I'm waiting on 8-foot posts to come. They need to come faster. This is the sweet potato bed. It is thriving, absolutely thriving. So hopefully we're gonna get a lot of sweet potatoes this year. And flowers around, I've moved things all over the place. Oh, hello, little bee. These are some gigantic cucumbers, carrots that I'm growing. They're supposed to be like 3 feet long. I think they're called Manjitapuki. Hopefully I could come up with the spelling of that. But I can't wait to see what they look like. The tomatillos have also taken over Maddie's bed over here. The bees love them. Then here we have the cucumbers, some of the cucumbers, and they've already definitely surpassed the trellis that they're on. You can see one over here. I think this is a Suyo long cucumber, so it gets longer. And then we have some China Jade just hanging out. I'm waiting for them to get a little bit longer because these are known to get like, I forget how many, at least 18 inches long, I think. I picked some early, you could pick them, but I want to just get a little bit longer. I also like that variety China Jade because it does not need pollinators. It will pollinate itself. So they have some tons of carrots down here. Basil, bok choy that bolted, I have to take that out. I have some other lettuce that's about to go to seed. Then we have here, this is one of the first beds I planted. This is broccoli that looks like it's just about, hopefully gonna form a head. Then we have, I think there's a cauliflower in there too. We have a cabbage down here and another cabbage. They're still growing. It's kind of hot for cabbage, but I don't know. What else? There's peppers in here. These are beets. These are golden beets. You get a peek. See the beets? I think it might be nice to pull some tonight and roast them on the grill. And we have some parsley, flowers. I just planted Armenian cucumbers over there after I took down the big thing, snow peas. Some tomato plants over here. I'll take you here in a minute. Let's go back over here. There's a lot of area, right? So what do I have over here? This is a whole bunch of tomatillos and ground cherries. Take you down in. You can see, if you look closely, all the fruit. These are the ground cherries over here. And then there's tomatillos that are just about ready, I think, back there. I've had some of the tomatillos. This gets like a amaryllis or something variety, and they are so sweet. It tastes like fruit. There's beans over here, lemongrass growing there, very big eggplant. These tomatoes. These are called currant tomatoes, and this is my first year growing them, and they're kind of driving me crazy because the plants, this is one plant, it's huge, it's going everywhere, and it's sort of hard to control because you prune it, you take off a sucker, it's sort of flat, so you gotta like stick it in and make it go up. It's gonna have these really teeny tiny tomatoes, like little currants, which should be delicious, I hope, but I don't know. Maybe I need to like plan a different section for this. Okay, over here we have another zucchini that is really big. This is the Pantheon version of the Castelluto Genovese, and this is a Castelluto Genovese over here. So this one is a sprawling type of zucchini, and I didn't intend for it to take over the bed. It's going to take over the bed. It's okay. I'm just gonna go with it. It will put down roots anywhere it goes, and it will vine. I'm gonna let one vine on the ground, but the other one looks like it's going through the bed, so it's fine. But this has one. It's supposed to have pretty good disease resistance too. And look how big those flowers are. Be beautiful for stuffing. Over here we have this is another green stalk under there. This one has so much food in it. Oh, here's those little tomatoes I was talking about. So the tomatoes, they just like sprawled everywhere. Oh look, something took over my Mizuna. And it's like, oh, that's not good. I don't know, pulling on it. This is a really delicious green. If you've never had it. Was it rotting? Oh look, that's rotting down there. Huh. I wonder what got that. I'll have to take a look at that more. But Mizuna is one of my absolute favorite greens. So I'll definitely be planting more. I'm about to start my fall seeds indoors so that I could be ready when the weather gets a little cooler and I get some more spot in the garden opens up. Oh, this is gross. It's all mushy. I'm not sure what got it, but something did. So, oh, take it out, replant, let it dry, I guess. Which is so sad because I love that. I wonder if it was like a slug that got it. Maybe it was just too wet because it's right next to all these tomatoes. Silly tomatoes. If I open it up more, maybe it will do better. I don't know. What else is in here? There's squash in here. There's a whole bunch of pepper plants. I don't remember what kind of pepper this is. It's a Cubanelle pepper, but it doesn't look like a Cubanelle. Oh, what's this? Arugula that's coming through. Kale. There's a whole bunch of lettuces in here. More peppers. Dragon tongue beans. Cut this a little bit. Kale, these teeny tiny tomatoes, orange hat tomatoes. Oh, look at this basil. I'm not sure what's going on with my cinnamon basil. This one has like a bit of a licorice flavor to it. I think it just may not like all the rain we've gotten. Ooh, pepperoncini peppers over here. I'm so excited for those. Then we have, let's see, more tomatoes. Peppers on the ends. These are Hungarian wax peppers. We have a whole bunch sitting up. These are King of the North bell peppers. So these are looking good. I might take those off soon. Look at some of these tomatoes that I have back here. Look at that. I have never grown tomatoes that big. You see them in there? Leaves are in the way. See these tomatoes? These things are huge. Huge. There's some others in here. I'm like super excited. So we'll just see what happens. But again, I have to prune this more. This other plant here is growing more leaves than it is tomatoes. But there's tomatoes here. There's potatoes here. There is lettuce. 2 more cabbages still growing. What else? Walk over here. If you can see, it's hard to move around in here now. But it's also exciting because it's like tons of abundance, right? Here are the tomatillos behind me. So you can see they're taller than me. More tomatoes. I'm super excited for these peppers. These are Jimmy Nardello peppers. See them here? Let's see if I can give you a good shot. See over here? They're supposed to turn red. This is an artichoke. We have some winged beans growing up back here. These are those magnolia peas. See, some of them are way more purple. We have more tomatoes, 2 more tomato plants. Then we have another pepperoncini plant. Like, look how cool that is. Butternut squash. Let's see, I saw a baby one here. Oh, here. Oops. Come around this way. See this? This is gonna be hopefully a butternut squash when it pollinates. Go to our middle bed. Let's see, there's some sort of zucchini. In the back we have zinnia, sunflowers that are getting taller and hopefully will open soon. Marigolds, carrots. Middle is all tomatoes. This is some bolted broccoli rabe, but the bees love the flowers, so I'm leaving it for now. Cube of butter, zucchini. There's an eggplant back here. A little watermelon plant. There's beans climbing up the fence. Oh, then we have this gigantic garden over here. Out of control zucchini. Absolutely out of control zucchini. There are pepper plants in here. Oh, sad. I hate when we lose when we lose the zucchini flowers before they even open. But that's what happens. Ooh, but look, there's one growing. Can you see the round zucchini over here? That's super exciting. I'm really excited about that. It's the little things, right? Oh, I see one of the worst pests in the garden. This is the squash vine borer moth. Oh, it's moving over there. It's not even on a squash plant, it's on a bean right now. Did I get it? I did not get it. Oh, this thing is the bane of my existence. It will lay these little brown eggs on any of your zucchinis, different kinds of squashes, and then the eggs hatch, and this teeny tiny worm, and it burrows into your plant, and it goes down and eats the roots. It's awful, and I fight them every year. So now I have to go check the plants. But let's continue with the tour. More tomatoes. Some nice ones set up over here. I think this is the black strawberry. These tomatoes are just so beautiful. So beautiful. Or maybe those black cherry. I have both. Come through. I won't show you everything, but here, let's just take a peek. This is like the tomato alley, where I have like a ton of tomato plants. But this is the squash tunnel. And you can see that some of them are already growing over my head. This is a spaghetti squash. This one doesn't look like it got pollinated, but this one I think did. I think this one did. So we will see. There's a loofah vine growing, coming up. Need to try to get this so it doesn't lose out on the light. You know, very gently help it wrap itself. Dumpling squashes, tons more tomatoes. And we have here, we have this Trombottini squash. It's like an Italian one that's like used sometimes as zucchini. I think that one should grow. It's like super long and like arced like this. I hope that we get some so that I can show you. Oh, my head hit the wind chime. Then we have the Kakuza squash, which usually don't have such great germination, but all my seeds took. Hopefully the plants are not too stressed being close to each other. And I hope we can start getting some flowers soon. I don't really see any just yet. Like there's some little ones, but it's hard to tell what's happening. I'm just gonna wait and see. Okay. We have a leaning tomato plant. I'm waiting on those stakes to come. Everything is falling over. But more tomatoes. We're on the other side of the cucumbers. I had to add this trellis, which is actually for beans, but I don't have anything else. I didn't really want to buy something because the cucumbers are just going nuts, which isn't a bad thing. But, you know, here we are. I guess I'm not going to walk through there. I got to tie this up. But we have some of like, look at all these tomatoes. It's going to be delicious. I'm so excited. Super, super, super excited. I also like to make my own sauce. So, the different pasta dishes, it's going to be great. Any big tomatoes over here? See, these are the Castellito Genovese tomatoes. They're looking pretty good over here. Nothing is ready to turn ripe yet. Nothing's even blushing. Just makes me think I have to get those stakes and get everything put up. Here is a determinate type of tomato. So put out all its tomatoes. I do wish that all the flowers got pollinated, but you can see it's loaded. So that one hopefully will start turning color soon. I actually have to trim this tree bush that my neighbor has over here because I'm growing beans and they're about to grow up into the bush, and I don't really want that because I don't want to have to hunt in here for beans. But this is a garden that looks a little crazy right now. Okay, I tried the Three Sisters method, which is corn, beans, and squash. First you plant the corn and you let that get going. What's, I don't know, I think about a foot tall. You plant your beans, which I did, but then the beans started to way outgrow the corn. Here's a corn plant. See how it's not even that tall and the beans are huge, so I had to make teepees and try to guide the corn through. Yes, I also have random tomatoes in here. I'm gonna tuck it in I have netting on the fence. Sort of an afterthought of tomatoes and organizing. They're these beautiful looking beans. I think these are scarlet runner beans, if I remember correctly. The flowers are just so pretty. Oh, it looks like this one has gone up the tomato. Just trying to keep making room for the corn so that it could still grow. Corn is wind pollinated, so it's good to group them in like tighter blocks. This garden is actually not deep enough to really plant corn, but I've done it before. I hand pollinate it, so when the tassels come out on the top, you see the silks, you cut the tassel and you like shake it on top of the silk. Each silk in the little thing represents a kernel of corn. So that's how I've done it. I got corn last year. I don't know what's gonna happen. We'll find out. Oh, here, these are all the berries, right? So we have here, these are the blackberry bushes. I had no idea that these get so tall. Can you see? It's over my head. And I am 6 foot tall. So this one is even growing up this trellis. I don't know. We have more raspberries, dahlias, raspberries you could see here. Can you see here? You have raspberries growing. There, some more down there. What kind of plant is this? This is the Caroline raspberry. So it's exciting, right? So that's this garden right now. I also have these stackable gardens. I have 2 of them. I've learned a lot of stuff about these this year. It's good for these like micro dwarf tomatoes, and the lettuces seem to be doing well, and spices, but I don't think I'd plant anything else in there. I have bean plants, but they're not doing so great. I think I want to do flowers in them next year. This is how asparagus grows. See all these ferns? When you have to let the asparagus establish itself, then you can pick it after a 3-year-old plant. So I planted this. This is the 2nd year after I planted it. So, and they were 1-year-old plants, so maybe next year we could have some. But you have to let it grow into this fern so that it can suck up the energy to produce more and get more roots. I have another Mr. Stacky. This thing's bolted, I just left them. And then with more asparagus out here. This is cool. See the asparagus? They just shoot up like that. And then we have some strawberry plants. There are some on here waiting to get ripe. Wildflowers. I have a couple compost sources. 1, 2, 3. And then a shade garden I'm working on. And that's a tour of our garden.